Hello and welcome to another episode of Cake Fight Presents The Making Of. I'm writer, director, producer Paige Feldman, and this week, as every week, I'm taking you inside my process of making my debut feature film. We're going from idea to premiere in real time. And today, y'all, I'm wondering if I'm even cut out for this. I've been planning a wedding with my fiance since October. It is right now, as you're watching this, July 20th, and we have about 3.5 weeks until it's the big day, which is really exciting, except we are in major wedding crunch time. I have so many little silly things that I have to do and make sure they get taken care of so that the day can go off smoothly. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I need to embroider, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm talking about like, I need to make sure to order place cards so that everybody will have their right meal come to them, except there are 9 people who have not RSVP'd yet, even though the RSVP deadline was over 10 days ago. And I can't make the cards until I know what everybody wants to eat. And by make, I mean order, and I need to order them in time so that they have 2 weeks to ship, and I am tearing my hair out. I'm laughing because there's nothing else I can do about it. I'm not worried about getting all of these things done. I'm really organized and like, here is my to-do list. It is color-coded. There are little dots in terms of how much effort I have to put into everything, what type of thing it is, if it's something that's going to take so long that I only need to focus on that for one day. Like, the tasks are going to get done. That's not the issue. The issue is that all this time I have been comparing wedding planning to producing a film. And like, it kind of is, because it's a huge event. I'm organizing a bunch of people to get together in one place at the same time. There was a lot of hiring vendors, interviewing people, talking about my vision, which is something I'm very familiar with as a director and as a producer, and finding the right people to collaborate with in terms of budget, in terms of shared vision, in terms of shared philosophy. And all that actually was really fun. But now, as I'm getting down to all of these nitty-gritty details, it's a lot. And y'all, before we dive into this any further, I just want to say that I am good at producing. The organization, the communication, all of that is something that I am naturally kind of good at. Although I don't know if it's natural or it's sort of been learned as I was an assistant in some capacity for like 7 years. And in order to have been an assistant for that long, I had to keep real on top of things, emails, meetings, all of that jazz. Like, it's a whole chicken or the egg thing in terms of, was I organized first and that's why I was such a good assistant, or did I get organized because that's what it required to keep my job? That's beside the point. The important thing here is that despite my not really liking this kind of work, despite when I'm in filmmaking mode, despite it distracting me from some of my creative duties as writer and director, I'm good at it. I'm so good at it that I don't hire anybody to do it for me, to produce for me, because I have limited resources at this stage of my career and I want to be able to use them towards things that I am not as naturally talented at, like hiring an editor. And I had a discussion recently with a filmmaker friend about how he's terrible at producing, so he always hires a producer, but he's actually okay at editing even though he's not a big fan of it, so he just does that himself. So suffice to say, details, despite my not liking them, I'm awesome at it. And in the past, I've been really good at juggling my multiple roles and the multiple responsibilities that have been pulling at me and ensuring that everything gets done. So anyway, I figured we'd get into crunch time and I'd be able to handle it. Set up final meetings, attend those meetings, pay people, ask people for their insurance or other information, send props off to the printer like those place cards that I've been talking about. Make certain things that I don't have an art department for. All of those little details, I was sure, hey, it's just gonna be like the few weeks before Interrobang. It's just gonna be like those couple of weeks getting into prep on every episode of How to Fall in Love the Hard Way, on some of the proof of concepts that I've shot. I'm gonna be able to handle this. no sweat. Except earlier this week, I just had a full-on breakdown in the shower. And I mean, like, if you never cried in the shower, you're missing out, because it's just like, you cry, the water's already coming down your face, you can't really even feel your tears. There's something really wholesome about it. Except I felt terrible. I felt like I would never have any free time again. I'd never be able to do anything I wanted to ever again. All of this work would never end, and on and on and on and on and on. I just need to interrupt here for a second, because I am so excited to get married. This overwhelm and this anxiety and all of this has nothing to do with the impending marriage. I am so thrilled to be marrying my fiance. He is just the best person in the world, and I could not be happier about spending my life with him. It's literally the details, getting all of these little things set, the planning of the wedding, all of these final crunch time things that has my head spinning and just has me in such disarray. And it was never like this for any of my other projects. And this wedding is the biggest thing I've ever planned, in terms of money, in terms of scale, in terms of number of people involved. The film that I make is going to be bigger than this wedding. It's going to cost more money. It might not have as many people involved, but the stakes are going to be way higher and way riskier, because with my wedding, with my marriage, I mean, I know this is for life. There's no question in my mind. There's no niggling voice in the back of my head. And in previous relationships, I have had niggling voices in the back of my head. I have had questions, but this is it. This film, though, it's not about two people joining their lives. This film is going to be me putting all of my passion and talent into this story, convincing financiers and investors, convincing distributors, convincing producers, convincing actors and department heads to perhaps take a pay cut. In the case of investors, to put in money. In the case of distributors, to put in time and energy and put their weight behind the project so that other people see it. This is my career. This is my livelihood on the line. If I can't handle the pressure of planning something that is less expensive, has less risk involved, and because, like, let's say like the 1 in a million thing happens and this isn't for life. This is just a party I'm planning. It has nothing to do with the actual marriage beyond celebrating it and commemorating it. But this film, when we go into pre-production, when I take care of all these details, when I hire my crew, when I cast actors, when I assure financiers that everything is going great, when I go out to distributors, when I go out to festivals, when I represent the film, that's all part of a huge ecosystem that, if it succeeds, is going to flourish and grow and create a big, massive, epic career for me. But if I can't handle the pressure, if I turn into this, which right now I'm doing okay, and I'm on the friggin' brink here. If I you know, let's say that I get into this, that I become this, like the bad version of this, the tears streaming down my face, ugly crying, spiraling version of myself that I have been a few times in the past couple days before going into production on this film. Like, if things go badly, if the production isn't that smooth, if the film isn't as good as it needs to be, it's going to be devastating. But in all honesty, it's not going to stop me from trying again. I'm committed. I quit film once. I went to law school to find myself, as you do, and I found that I'm not going to be happy doing anything else but than pursuing a career as a writer and a director and a filmmaker and a storyteller. This is what I am meant to do. I have no question, and it might take longer if I turn into a freaking mess. I don't want it to take longer, and I want this to work, and I'm afraid that if it doesn't work, if I do turn into this mess, and if I really can't handle the pressure beyond a short form anthology series, beyond an audio series where I am the sole producer, writer, director, basically doing everything behind the scenes, editing, sound mixing, sound design, except for music and title design. I need to learn how to handle that pressure, but what if I don't know how? Like, who's gonna teach me? And I know I'm spiraling. And I know that this isn't helping anything because I haven't even written the script for this yet. I haven't finished writing the script for it. I'm getting better. I'm getting better about finding a habit, finding a way to push myself into writing it, which is good. Like I said, I was creating a ritual last time. I have my tea, and after I finish recording this, I'm going to go write my 5 pages a day to get this done before the wedding. But I don't have the script yet. The script's not finished yet. So why am I freaking out about a problem that doesn't yet exist, about what-ifing? But when I began this journey, even when it was Kaleidoscope, I promised you all one thing, and that hasn't changed, that I was going to be 100% honest and real. And I was going to get in front of the camera when I was a mess, and I was going to tell you when things weren't going my way, whether it was outside my control or within me. Right now, where I'm worrying that because I'm turning into a soggy mess whenever I think about the fact that I have to make menus and make sure people RSVP. Seriously, PSA, if you are watching this video and you have not RSVP'd to a friend's wedding, baby shower, bridal shower, birthday party, I don't care. Just go RSVP right now, please. Because even if it's no, I would rather hear no than have to go text you, hey, it's been 11 days, why haven't you responded? And by 11 days, I mean 11 days since the deadline. Why haven't you responded yet? It's gonna be, anyway. If I get like this about my wedding, I don't know what it's gonna be like when I get into pre-production, but hopefully I'll have a support system around me, a producer who's going to handle those details when we're on set. I really hope that this anxiety and stress and just harebrained person that I am right now is not a signal of what I'm going to be before I say action on my first feature. I'm hoping that my calm, business-like, let's get it done, we got this confidence that I had for Interrobang and How to Fall in Love the Hard Way and the proofs of concept that I've filmed, that person is there for movies. I'm hoping that this wedding planning whirlwind of my mind is because of the outside pressure of family, of having to answer to not only the people who I've hired, but also people who I love and who are doing amazing things for me. But there's a lot of being bombarded right now, and I'm not 100% in control of when people ask me for things and who asks me for things. And I think in a business setting, which a film is, maybe those boundaries are going to make it a lot easier for me to stay centered and stay on track with what I need to do and not get so spirally about it. So that's my hope. And on the flip side, I'm worried I don't have the chutzpah to make a feature. So that right now is my truth. That's my worry. If you feel me, hit the like button. If you want to talk about it, drop me a comment. Misery loves company. I'm not miserable, but I'd like some company for this mess that I am right now. And hopefully next week, when we come back, I will be in a much better headspace and ready to tell you about all of the positive things that have happened in my writing the script and on this journey of the making of my first feature. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.